Hello. This is a test. Is there anybody here? Ah, okay. Can you hear me, George? Hello. This is a test. Is there anybody here? Ah, okay. Can you hear me, George? Okay, this is weird. I just wanted to see if this is gonna work or not. Ah, okay. Can you hear me, George? Okay, this is weird. Yep, I just fixed that. It's I've got like 25 different systems running here. Yeah, and the echo is weird. Okay. Well, I wanted to see if this was going to work and I had some time. And so I thought I would take this opportunity to do a FDA recall report. So if you want to stick around for that, you can. If not, it'll be maybe on replay later. So let's see if I can. How does this work when you use an outside software system? Sorry, George, you're along for the ride here. No, it's OBS. But it just updated, so I thought maybe it would be better. Let's see. My screen capture. Okay. Yeah, kind of is working. What I need is another window. All right, because this is a new one. There's a new recall that just popped up. Animals and Veterinary. And see, I won't be able to see the I don't think I'll be able to see the chat when I do it this way. Yeah. Okay. Well, I won't be able to see. I won't be able, I don't think, to see the chat when I do it this way. But we can still fuddle through. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I won't be able to see the chat, but we're gonna do the newest recall, which is Answers, a company called Answers. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, we'll have to play around with it later. But let's go ahead and do this. So, newest recall, FDA recall, is a company called Answers. Of course, a company I've never heard of before. And it was kind of interesting because Answers was kind of fighting a little bit back and forth with the FDA about this. So it was issued on published on September 23rd, 2024. And the reason was potential Salmonella and Listeria. I think that they've put potential there because of the kind of backlash they got from the company. I read through the recall, and basically this company, which is Answers Pet Food, and we'll go to their website and we'll look at it so we can know more about the company, but they were asked to voluntarily withdraw certain lots of their beef formula for dogs and straight beef formula for dogs and straight chicken formula for dogs out of an abundance of caution after samples collected by the FDA were reported to have tested positive for the presence of both Salmonella and Listeria. We've talked about Listeria before. And then we all know about Salmonella. That is one of those dangerous kind of GI pathogens that causes significant GI distress in people. And then it can in animals as well. They say that they have not detected any illnesses associated with these lots, but that they, detected this in sampling of the packages. And so obviously the concern is that affected animals eating the products can have deleterious effects. And then, of course, the humans also handling the products can experience similar. So we talked about Listeria. It can cause a range of symptoms, including miscarriage in people, and can be a serious issue. So symptoms in humans: fever, headache, muscle ache, stiff neck, nausea, abdominal pain, diarrhea, confusion, loss of balance, convulsions. Um, so pretty serious there. And then salmonella, which we haven't talked about, and any of these recalls, it is, a predominantly GI pathogen, and it can cause lethargy, diarrhea, bloody diarrhea, fever, vomiting. I actually have a technician that got salmonella at one point and said it was one of the worst things ever. She had to be hospitalized, and it was an absolutely horrible experience. Um, you can, of course, on the FDA website, we've talked about it, you can see the exact product that was being recalled, the lots, et cetera, et cetera. So, if you're feeding Answers pet food and you fall into that category, you need to obviously immediately stop feeding it, and you need to contact your personal physician or your veterinarian if you think your pet is having adverse symptoms related to it. This right here, I think, is part of something that Answers kind of asked the FDA to do, because I've never seen this on a report, for informational purposes. And it says, from time to time, pathogens appear in all types of pet food, and some may be harmful to pets or people. And the FDA considers any presence zero tolerance, regardless of origin, to be significant. And so this right here, I'm pretty sure this whole blurb, if you read through it, has to do with Answers pushback to the recall. And so with that, we're going to head over to their website. I'm going to check the chat really quick to see if I'm even still. Yeah, I think. Okay, there's 4 of you here. Okay, I think it's still working. Somebody want to check in really quick. Can anybody still hear me? Hello? Yeah, we can. Okay, perfect. Thanks. There's a delay on my end too, so sorry if that's kind of weird. We'll figure this out. But you know what? I had 2 hours on lunch break, so. Oh, hi, Sea Swimmer. Nice to see you there, joining us. Not sure that I've had seen you, be here before, but welcome. We're going to jump over to the Answers website with that bit of information. I did go to their website because I saw this recall a couple days ago and didn't have a chance to sit down and do this for you guys. But Answers Pet Food is answerspetfood.com. It says it's veterinarian recommended. I get that everywhere. I don't know what you have to do to be veterinarian recommended. I don't know if there's like some sort of paperwork you have to fill out and have like veterinarian sign off. I really don't know what you have to do to get that claim. But anyway, it's an integrating raw feeding, or it's integrating raw feeding in science. So it's another one of those raw foods, which is typically when we're seeing these problems with the bacterial contamination. Looking through it, one of their kind of deals is that they're big on fermentation, which, I'm totally cool with. I like fermentation. I have a garden. I do my own fermenting. I ferment my own cabbage and make my own kimchi, and I make my own sauerkraut. So like I'm all about the fermentation. I totally understand the process. But there are some safety, even sometimes when I'm doing it, there are some safety things that you have to keep into consideration. So it's definitely not a foolproof process. If you scroll down, they've got this quick links. And so here, if you click on this one, this is the actual company announcement about the voluntary recall, which was September 22nd. And this is pretty much exactly what was on the FDA website, as you can see. So things that you need to do, and again, like the stickers that show you exactly where to look on the packaging, what the packages look like, et cetera, et cetera. The thing right under it, which I found was interesting, was on 9/24 they released this, which was a response to the FDA advisory. And so this is where I'm thinking some of this, they're showing their pushback, and I can definitely tell that maybe some lawyers were involved in writing this. This, I don't know. There's so much drama in pet food, but you can kind of tell this was some legalese here. So it says this was a communication in response to the FDA advisory. And, of course, Answers prides itself on being transparent, and therefore they want to clarify some statements made by the FDA not explained in the advisory. So the FDA reported that they collected and tested unopened retail samples of product after receiving 3 consumer complaints of illnesses in dogs that ate products from this lot. And then they're saying that this is a misrepresentation of the facts. And Answers has requested information on the reported complaints, and the limited information provided by the FDA was that one consumer filed a series of 3 complaints. So, I mean, I guess that is important. It was 3 complaints, but it wasn't 3 separate complaints. It was one consumer that filed 3 complaints. And then when Answers additionally requested supporting documents, the FDA would not discuss the complaints further, and said Answers would have to file a Freedom of Information request to learn more about the complaints. It may be because they couldn't get out perhaps personal information, like people's information, is what I'm assuming. Um, and then they say Answers did their own internal investigation, for whatever that's worth. Their own internal investigation, and found no research tying the alleged health problems reportedly suffered by the dogs in the complaint to the consumption of pet food alleged to contain the pathogens. The lots of our products were distributed to many other end users with no reported health complaints. And so, there's some validity there if nobody else reported anything. Um, how can you say for sure that the illnesses were related to their food? And again, you have to correlate those medical records, like were the dogs diagnosed with salmonellosis, and then they tested these lots and the lots had salmonella and it's the same strain. Okay, that would be pretty irrefutable evidence in my book, but they're not going out and saying that. Answers is saying that they're unaware of any confirmed illnesses in humans or animals directly tied to or caused by the implicated products. Um, the FDA reported that they recommended that the Answers pet food recall these products, and they say to date the company has not initiated an adequate recall of the affected products. So the FDA was not happy with the recall that was put into place. And so Answers is saying that FDA and the CVM, which I think is their like veterinary division of the FDA, and their staff are not following the requirements of the applicable federal law, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, for the determination if a food is adulterated. So now they're getting into some legalese stuff here, and so they're saying that um, the Answers pet food sought a court declaratory judgment against the FDA using non-binding compliance policy guides to determine if a manufacturer is in violation of the food, yada yada yada. So they're getting their legal team involved here. The above additional data required to be collected, and then you can just read through this. I read through it. It's just going through. It's like a bunch of legal stuff, and I don't know you guys saw it, but most veterinarians are usually overwhelmed with legal mumbo jumbo. It's just really not how our brains are wired. So I didn't really go through all that, but I thought it was interesting that they posted that on their website, and then they have a whole tab here of food safety, and it's a video. And so I thought maybe, and I don't know if the sound will play or not, but I did watch a couple minutes of this video, and I don't know if we'll have the option to watch it on 2 speed, but I thought the video was kind of interesting. And I think we'll watch this and then we can chat about it a little bit if there's anybody still on the live feed. But I thought their food safety video was interesting. So let's see.
Food safety has become a growing concern with the introduction of new technologies, questionable farming, and manufacturing practices. There are various safety assurance methods, checkpoints, and enforcement steps set in place in order to make our environment safe from foodborne illness. Answers Pet Food offers humane, sustainable, organic, pasture-raised products that protect the food state, environment, livestock, and our pets. We offer the most natural, effective way to make raw products as safe and as healthy as possible. In order to achieve our high standards, Answers uses hurdle technology as a method of ensuring that pathogens, the bacteria that causes illness in food products, can be controlled or eliminated. Hurdle technology works by combining more than one approach and using multiple methods. It operates at all steps and stages of process and production from soil to bowl. Sourcing is the first step of intervention against pathogens. Pathogen control begins with sourcing healthy livestock that are raised in their natural environment, fed species appropriate food, and not confined. To If raised appropriately, livestock won't shed off high loads of pathogens. In short, you get healthy food from healthy animals. A part of hurdle technology is our use of fermentation as a food safety and preservation method. Fermentation fights bacteria with bacteria, a microbiological science that has been used since the beginning of time. So, what happens when bacteria such as Salmonella and other pathogens are detected in the environment? When is it a cause for concern? What are the variables? In order to understand if a food is determined to be safe or not, let's take a closer look at the science, the policies, and the laws behind it all. The environment in which we live is not sterile, which is a good thing. Here's why. We must have good bacteria in our environment in order to control the bad bacteria or pathogens from growing and becoming harmful. It's a defense mechanism created by Mother Nature herself. There are approximately 2,500 different species of Salmonella identified to date. Not all Salmonella or pathogens are dangerous. Approximately only 10 to 12 species may cause illness. In order for Salmonella or other pathogens to cause illness, the amount of cells in the food have to be very large. If there's a small amount of pathogenic cells, it's not a problem.
See, I don't know about
The
that. What if
FDA
they're
oversees the pet food industry.
immunocompromised? I don't know about
They have
that.
a policy, not a law, that does not allow even one cell of Salmonella or other pathogens in pet food, referred to as zero tolerance. The USDA is responsible for developing and executing federal laws related to the meat and poultry for human consumption. The USDA understands that zero tolerance is not possible. So why does the FDA have a zero tolerance policy in the pet food industry? Yet the USDA has a law allowing up to 25% of ground chicken for human food to test positive for Salmonella. What if Salmonella tested positive in store-bought human-grade ground chicken? According to the USDA, you have a 1 in 4 chance that it will, and yet that is acceptable. How is this taken into account when the raw material Answers purchases this USDA-inspected human-grade meat? So what does it mean if Salmonella or other pathogens is detected in a raw pet food sample? Is it one cell or a billion? Is
I
the
mean,
cell viable or not?
that's true,
If it is Salmonella, what
but we
species
don't know
is
how
it?
many they
Is
found.
it one of
It
the
didn't
few
say
that
that.
cause illness? The answer doesn't matter because there's a zero tolerance policy for pet food manufacturers.
Also, if it's
Just
zero
because
tolerance, that means there's a lot
microbiological
of
test
other pet
results
foods that are
indicate
also
potential
able to adhere
pathogens
to that. So
doesn't mean
again,
you or your pet will get sick. Food is never pathogen free. Our hurdle technology at Answers does not always eliminate pathogens completely, but controls them. Using high quality sourcing ensures we are starting with low levels of pathogens. Answers fermentation process inoculates food with billions upon billions of good bacteria, along with beneficial substances they produce. These conditions prohibit any potential pathogen cells from multiplying and causing concern. How does the FDA test for Salmonella? The FDA takes a sample that is then given a highly sensitive, specific test for Salmonella DNA. The cells may be barely alive or even dead, and yet the results could test positive for Salmonella. If DNA tests positive, the Salmonella cells are grown in a test tube environment, resuscitates them, and encourages them to grow. They are cells that possibly would never have grown to levels that would cause illness. The FDA does not quantify the amount of contamination. What that means is this: the FDA testing doesn't test for the amount of Salmonella cells or other pathogens, which would be very important information to obtain, because the fact is there needs to be a large amount of cells to cause illness. Answers raw food naturally
I
through
would be interested in
fermentation
what they
as
mean by
high counts
what
of
is
good
defined as a
bacteria.
large amount. What's a
Innocent
large
pet like
amount? That's
Salmonella
not very
or other
quantitative
pathogens
either.
would not survive well or be able to grow. Good bacteria crowds out and prevents the pathogens or bad bacteria from multiplying. It's a seriously effective and highly efficient food safety method. What happens when Answers pet food is temperature abused or compromised? What if the food gets warmer than refrigerated temperatures? The good bacteria multiplies and creates an environment even more lethal to pathogens, which then causes the pathogenic cells to decrease.
But if the
In
good
effect,
bacteria are
Answers pet
multiplying
food is
because
a
of
total
temperature
product
abuse, then
that
why aren't
ensures
bad
the pet food
bacteria
from
multiplying as
production all
well?
the way to the bowl, continuing through your pet's digestion. Answers pet food provides pets all the good bacteria, known as probiotics, needed for good pet health. These good bacteria, probiotics, continue to prevent pathogens from multiplying in the gut, therefore preventing the pathogens ingested from causing illness. Our hurdle technology for food safety is the highest in the industry. Our method is part of an innovative matrix that discourages the growth of pathogens and promotes the health and well-being of our pets, the way Mother Nature intended.
Hmm. All right. Didn't even get into the nutrition of the food. I think I actually tried to figure out the actual nutrition of the food, and I couldn't really figure it out. Let's just do this really quick. Yeah, it was one of those things I was gonna have to um email them because they didn't have all the information listed. I guess we can do a full review on it if you guys are interested, but that's not what this video is intended to be. All right, let's see here now. Okay, here we are. Now we're back into the stream. Okay. Okay, so hey Ed, how are you? You're here. Okay, so you can't hear the video. Okay, so anybody can go and watch the video if you want. Sorry if you couldn't hear it. I couldn't really figure it out, but basically it was saying um kind of their justification for the process that they use, and what they're saying is, well, the FDA has a zero tolerance for bacterial pathogens. I don't know if it's just specifically salmonella. They talked a lot about salmonella, but zero tolerance, where like USDA, which does the human side and human grade, allows a certain amount. So basically saying the FDA is super 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 strict, where in the human side they're not super strict, and so they're using that as justification. They're also saying they don't do a quantitative analysis, so they just say that there's a presence there. It's like, yes, there's a presence, no, there's a presence, but they don't say like how much is there. Their justification on that is that the good, there's good bacteria there, and so their process of food safety is the good bacteria outnumber the bad bacteria, and you need a lot of bad bacteria in order to cause disease. Um, that is true, but also you don't know how much is there. So just because it's a yes or no doesn't mean that there's not a lot. They didn't test for that. So yeah, you could say, well, there could be one, but at the same time, there could be a lot more than one. Um, so I'm not really sure that's an accurate defense, because it's like it could be either way. And somebody did report illness, so I mean there is that. And then they were saying that something about temperature safety. So even if there's temperature abuse, that it's okay because temperature abuse just promotes good bacteria multiplying even more. Well, yeah, it also promotes bad bacteria from multiplying anymore. So the whole video is just basically a defense on their mechanisms. Why don't they use high pressure processing? Because I guess because they're relying on fermentation, as their safety mechanism. But like I said, I do my own fermentation, and every time I crack that little fermentation seal there, I'm always wondering like, is this okay or not? So yeah, I agree with Sea Swimmer. I just feel like it is a risky way to feed your pet. I don't know if people even realize that are feeding this food even realize that there is a lot of unknowns and a lot of unknown variables there. I'm not saying that they're being implicated in this, or if the recall was justified or not justified. I mean, there is a law, and so the law does say it's zero tolerance, and plenty other. Oh, hey Ed, yeah, Helene was fine. I lost like a tree right by my filming studio, but I got to use my chainsaw and take care of that this weekend, so that's gone. But anyway, what I was saying was a lot of other pet foods seem to be able to follow the rules just fine. So I don't know. That's just another one for the books. Yeah, I mean that's the bottom line. It's risky. It's a risky thing. Do the risks outweigh the benefits? That involves some personal calculus there. So for me, no, but for others it may be different. Have any of you guys actually heard of answers, or is this another new one for everybody? Oh, hey Glenn, you came in on the tail end. You should watch the video if you didn't watch the video. it's it's something. The video from the Answers website. It's definitely, and I don't know if they posted that video just in response to this or if that video has always been there. But yeah, they seem to be really unhappy with the the FDA's I don't want to say attack, their monitoring, their I don't know, regulation. So yeah, they don't really seem to be happy about that. But anyway, Yeah, I hope you guys like that. I'm sorry that it was a little bit of a train wreck. I just kind of wanted to try out the live thing and see if I could get it to work with OBS. And you can't do like just a trial, you have to like actually go live. So, yeah, so that was Answers Pet Food, not a nutritional analysis, but an FDA recall report. And I don't know. Hope you guys found it interesting. Spending 7 minutes of your day with me. I am probably gonna go now because I have an hour left on my lunch break, and I probably should go get something to eat before this afternoon. So, oh, Ashley, all the gang is meeting up. I think when I close the chat though, it's gonna it's gonna kick you guys out, and you're not gonna be able to hang out together um much longer. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I try to keep up with those. So, I guess I will catch you guys on Thursday for the regular video. Let me see. I think it's Stella and Chewy. I'm trying to remember what let me look really quick on my phone and see. Yeah, it's Stella and Chewy. So we're gonna do a single video on Stella and Chewy, and then we're gonna do a 3-part series on Open Farm. So it's gonna be um, a 3-part series on Open Farm, and then there's gonna be another little short break, and we're gonna talk about Purina Hydrocare for cats as a nutrient enriched water and what's nutrient enriched water, and then we're gonna do a 3-part series on Raised Right, which is apparently a food that is promoted or some sort of tied to Karen Becker. So we're gonna do that one after that. So, all right, guys, catch you later. Bye.